Welcome back to Desk Careers, everybody. I'm so excited to bring another amazing guest to our Desk Careers platform. Today we welcome Samiera Sumun, who is the Student Recruitment Officer at the University of Birmingham in Dubai. Welcome, Samiera.
Hi, Maria. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm really excited to be part of the series.
Thank you. It's so exciting to have you here. I loved sharing these stories. I think it's really important that the youth begin to understand the career stories and the journeys that professionals they aspire to be like have taken. It helps them to really clarify that it's not just an end goal. We have a journey. There's a career story behind every person. So with that as our starting point, when did you know that you wanted to be a recruitment officer? Like, when did that become an idea that you decided, yeah, I'm going for it?
So actually, I think I speak on behalf of most people where I didn't plan to be in the job now. You know, it wasn't my initial plan. So I actually ended up being a recruitment officer kind of incidentally and kind of, I think, with the logic of life and what was meant to be. So I first started off working in the education sector here in Dubai. So I was working previously at a very well-known British school here in the marketing department. And I really enjoyed it. I really loved being part of the school community, and the marketing itself was, you know, really a challenge for me, especially in this sector. And then from being at a school, I then decided to move into higher education. So I kept in the education sector, but just into higher education, which is where I am now at University of Birmingham, Dubai. So to answer your question, it wasn't my initial plan, but it's a role that I've enjoyed and I'm happy to be a part of.
And with English literature as your academic interest when you were younger, why did you find that most interesting? And if you look back at that as a younger student and what you're doing today, what would you say have been the connecting transferable skills that you think that subject really helps me in my work today?
So yes, I actually have always had an interest in English language and literature. So I really enjoy reading in my spare time, a lot of non-fiction novels, specifically since I was, you know, at a young age. And then from that, I guess I developed a love of the English language, which then transcended into me studying law at university. So I studied the LLB at the University of Greenwich in London. And then after that, it's given me a great foundation in life. So I've actually found that in any sector that I've worked in, it's helped in my ability to write emails, to communicate with people, to write marketing promotional material. And I'm also now studying as well myself outside of work. And that is also helping me academically again.
I'm going to ask you probably a question that you get asked very often. Why does a student who studied law want to do recruitment at a university?
So honestly speaking, it probably has something to do with my parents. So I don't know if a few students can kind of relate to this, but my parents had always had big dreams of me to become a solicitor when I was younger. And it was kind of subliminally put in my mind. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's how I ended up studying the LLB. After which I decided to go into marketing and then the education sector. I've had a few other jobs. I've had a very, very fluid career path, I would say.
And as a recruitment officer today, you see young people all the time. Many of these young people may really not have a clear understanding of what they can do. And sometimes educators and parents are the influencers into making those choices, both based on your professional experience and based on your personal experience. What are some of the tips that you can offer the youth when they are thinking about their future plans?
Yeah, that's a really great question and something I would really like to elaborate on. So I'm glad that you've asked me. So recently I went on a school visit and I was doing like a workshop around personal statements, applying for university. And some of the students were really vocal about their thoughts and their dreams, and they were very much had a plan and knew what they wanted to study at university. Others were very honest with me and were like, "Miss, I don't have a clue." And I looked at them and I was like, it's completely fine. I think, yes, speaking to the younger generation, it's great if you have a vision in mind for your future, but also knowing that whatever you choose, whether it works out or not, it will always work out for the best, and there'll always be a plan B. So bearing that in mind, if we're talking about plans, I think the foundation and the starting point would be to study something you're passionate about. Something you believe in, or at least something that uses the best skills, your abilities, your skills to the best ability that you can. So for example, English language and literature, I always had an interest in it, and that actually helped me with my LLB degree, and that's also helped me, you know, throughout my career as well. So just kind of going for something you're passionate about, I guess, would be my number one advice.
Talk to us about a typical day for you at work. What is it like to be a recruitment officer, and what are some of the things that you do every day that nobody would have taught you sitting in a classroom?
Wow, okay, that's a big question. So yes, the one thing that I really like about my job is not one day is the same. So that's what I really enjoy about it, and I think a lot of people in the education sector would say the same. So yes, I have my calendar for every day, like for the whole month, for the week, and I have a series of meetings. So I wake up in the morning, you know, working from home now or the office. Attend my meetings, which involve some meetings with my team to talk about what are going to be our priorities of the week, and then also reaching out to schools, communicating with them. I know I've worked with Desk before as well to do just some school outreach work. I also, during my day, I speak to students on a one-on-one basis, whether that's new students, so inquirers, trying to talk to them about what they want to study if we offer that program, helping them through the application process, and then hopefully helping them to enroll if that's the case. If not, just speaking to them about, you know, what the process is like and their parents. And yeah, so my days are very, very much busy, very packed, and no one day is the same.
And what is it that you think, I wish someone would have told me this about work? I never saw this coming.
I guess that it's what you make it. Work is what you make it. No one ever told me that. So once you get in a job, in any job, I feel, I've had many in the past, I feel like your work ethic, your job satisfaction, your relationships with your clients, your customers, your students, your employer, everyone, your whole working environment will depend on you yourself and what you make out of it. So I think you need to make the decision, you know, today is going to be the day like this. Tomorrow, it may or may not go to plan, but I think it is definitely what you make on. Sometimes I get, you know, fed up, I have down days, and I'm like, but you know what, like tomorrow will be better. I can do X, Y, Z, which will help me improve and will help the team be more effective and promote things more actively.
So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we have a recruitment officer from an amazing university, the University of Birmingham, Dubai. We have young people thinking about applying to university. They're sitting down, they're writing their personal statements, and there's almost like a block because thinking about their core values and their strengths and why they want to study something moving forward can be a really daunting experience for a young person that may never have really spent time thinking about the next academic pathway. What are some of your tips for guidance for these young people?
So I think at any point in life, it's a big daunting question, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? We always get asked that at interviews, and it's the same for our students. So for example, a personal statement, as you said, is a brilliant chance for them to sell themselves to the university to get a place with us. So when I speak to students about the personal statement, I just ask them to just please try and look within and just be honest with themselves about, as I've mentioned, passions, interests, what they do inside the classroom, what they do outside of the classroom, which is very, very important these days, and try to put your best foot forward. So I would say those are the main kind of, put your personality on paper. And if you're not sure about what you want to do in the next 5 years, at least have a plan for university and the subject that you're going to study. And then you can do your own research afterwards as well.
And I know that it's important. One of the things that you have mentioned as important is self-development as a whole and never to stop learning. How has that shown up for you in your career?
Oh, it's shown up a lot in more ways than I probably wanted. Um, so as you said, working in the education sector, learning is always important. As an adult, some of us may put that on the back burner, but I think being a lifelong learner is just very, very important. And throughout my career, it's shown up quite a lot. So I'm talking about, basics, applying for a job, filling out an application form. These require skills, selling yourself at an interview. There's been times in the past that I was made redundant. I've had to show resilience through development as well. That's personal development. If we're talking professionally, then you look at upskilling yourself. So currently now I'm trying to upskill myself for my future. So yeah, I think just being a lifelong learner, and it does often come up.
And one last question, I promise. I can ask you questions all day. I know that in your top 3 tips, you stated studying a subject that you'll enjoy because they'll teach you a multitude of hard and soft skills, being prepared to be resilient, as you've just described, not just in this current job market, which we know is a really hard time for many, many people around the world, but also in being fluid with the plan. Why do you think that's important, that we're fluid in this plan, whether we're 17 years old or we're 57 years old?
Okay, so if we're talking about a 17-year-old in this current climate, I know many of them had, really exciting plans to study abroad, for example. They had hopes and dreams of going to America, Australia, even the UK, which is brilliant. But unfortunately, as this year has taught us, things don't go to plan. So what do you do in that case? Okay, you're sad, you kind of get down about it, but what's plan B? If you're fluid, you're able to adapt to that. So for example, here at the University of Birmingham, we offer the exchange year. So a student can do their year 1 in the UK, year 1 in Dubai, year 2 UK, and so forth. So then that kind of would help them with that exchange and that transition. So being fluid is really important. When you're older, I guess, I haven't reached my 50s just yet, but I can imagine that, yeah, it will be a similar situation. Things just won't go to plan. And I think being fluid is just very, very important to get us all through.
And it's something that I know I talk to our students about all the time, is just be in a place where, or do have experiences that teach you those long-term skills, because you need to be fluid. You never know what is waiting around that next corner. It can be something really, really exciting, an opportunity you've never expected, or maybe it could be a hardship. And what you want to remember is that you're gaining experiences that teach you resilience. They teach you how to make that next choice. So it's so great to see that it was in your top 3 as well. Samiera, we're going to bring this right to an end. What do you wish young people will remember on this journey towards post-academic, post-13 studies, and then beyond into their careers?
So I think for any post-13 student, I would say to really be true to yourself, have discussions about what you're interested in, as I've said, talk to your friends and family, be forthcoming with communicating with people, try to reach out, don't be afraid, speak to your school counsellors yourself, come and speak to me at the University of Birmingham, Dubai as well for impartial support and advice. Don't worry so much, and hopefully you make the right choice, and if not, there's always a plan B.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And that brings us right to the end of another amazing Desk Careers Spotlight interview. Today we welcomed Samiera Sumun, who is the Student Recruitment Officer at the University of Birmingham here in Dubai. I'll see you all at our next Desk Careers Digital Spotlights.